We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
I may not be a millionaire. I may not have a brand new Frigidaire. My clothes ain't all fancy, and my car ain't brand new, but there is joy in my
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality radio show with a touch of recovery. A reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant. Who says it?
I'm joined here by my co-host and recording artist, Lolita Robinson.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Welcome to another day of Joy in My House.
Yes, and thank you for the Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day to all of you out there today.
Yes, happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. I've been teaching martial arts for a little over 20 years.
Okay.
And during Mother's Day, it's always the same lecture. And my lecture is always, how do you show love? You show love by listening and following directions, I say.
Okay.
So on Mother's Day, if you want to show your mother love, because your job is to be a good son or daughter. That's your
Right.
job, especially at 5,
Listen
6
and
years
follow
old.
direction for 24 hours. That's that's what I like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I always tell them, every day should be Mother's Day.
It should be.
It really should, because if I listen to my mom the way I should have,
I'm telling you, they know, don't they? It's so funny to be on this side of it and having sons and having to pull back and go, okay, you got to find it yourself. But
Right.
we also want to talk to those. I have a couple of friends out there whose mothers are no longer with us, and I know I always check in with Van Eric too, because I know his mom passed, and my heart goes out to them today. You're carrying your mother in your heart, and some might not have great relationships with their mothers,
Right.
so we
And I
always
think
keep that in mind.
I think it's always important to say that, a lot of our show goes a little deeper than just happy.
Right,
Sometimes
right.
we touch on the more sensitive and the more deeper feelings. And I hope that you guys are out there that are listening and viewing are blessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
The show is more for us to try to bring some inspiration and hope through our guests,
Right.
through our
On this
lives.
road called life, because it's not easy.
Oh,
And it's
yes.
not always pretty, and it's messy, and I've had to make a lot of amends to my sister and her husband, and it's just hard. It really is.
It
So
really is.
I'm glad we are here. I get inspired.
Same here. I think a lot of our viewers, I hope that you guys get the same feelings that we do in the studio
Right,
when we
yeah.
get our guests. They really touch and inspire and motivate us. To me, it's an opportunity to hear God and the
Yeah,
work
and to
that
see
He's
how he
able to
does
do.
on so many people's lives, different cultures, different race, different religions. I mean, different things. So it is a blessing. So I'm looking forward to today, and hopefully that you'll have a good Mother's Day with your mom. And I'm going to spend
we got to
time.
make the effort. We definitely
Yeah.
got to make the effort. And having said that, we
Oh,
got to say Happy Mother's Day.
oh,
from-
that is so. So
from
you got
Joy
another
and-
cup.
yeah.
Wow.
Happy
Oh,
Mother's
those
Day,
are
Lolita.
beautiful. Thank you. You are so awesome. And my son Seth is here, my youngest son, and I'm
Yes,
blessed that he's here today. And I try and make it fun for them. So I always go to see the action-packed movies. So tonight we're going to see Spider-Man.
Oh,
You'll probably do the birthday thing with me because you have your
Yes.
brothers, which are my sons too. So thank you. These are beautiful. I appreciate it. Is it in the
And I wanna thank-
line of the?
I wanna
Do I need
thank-
to move it? Okay.
I want to thank Victoria Modelo from Ralph's right across the way. She did it for us last year, and she just does an amazing.
You gotta have her
amazing-
come on sometime.
I might have to,
That's
because she
right.
does great work. And I told her, how does this compare your flower shop to other flower shops?
Yeah.
Well, other flower shops offer different services, but she
Okay.
say any day I will go toe to toe with them and show them what I do.
And you know what? This is an opportunity. Find your niche.
Yes.
Find your niche. I mean, putting flowers together is beautiful. Baking,
Mm-hmm.
sewing, whatever you do, these are beautiful. So have her on sometime.
We're gonna have to.
Thank
We're gonna have to,
you.
because every year.
Oh,
Welcome.
I love
Happy
you.
Mother's
Thank
Day.
you so
You've been
much.
an amazing spiritual mom
Oh,
to me.
Thank you.
I do want to touch base on last week's show, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't have a chance and an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to see last week, please find us on www.latalklive.com. You click on shows, you click on Joy in My House, and all of our shows are archived here on the Studios Network. We had Anna Moses, which is the president of Hayasa Center.
That was
That was
beautiful.
previously on
that
the
was
show.
very, sometimes shows are very enlightening
They really
to
are.
learn about other cultures. We learned a little bit about Russia, and did she say she's Armenian, right?
Armenian, yes.
Right.
Russian Armenian.
Yes.
So for her to have the life that she had and how
Right.
she was really proactive in giving back, and now with her Hayasa Center giving back. And
Are you going to go to the event?
yes, the event is on May 24th. It is at First Baptist Church of Glendale.
Okay.
And this event, just if you don't know, our producer Van Eric will be honored that day.
Are you kidding?
Yes, he
If I didn't have to
will.
work, Van, I'd be there. Congratulations. In what sense are they honoring him?
The veterans,
Oh,
because of
that's
the work that he's
right.
done and giving back, and
That's right.
definitely a
That's
positive
right.
thing.
Congratulations, Van. He's so,
He's so shy.
wow.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who are viewing us and follow us on Facebook, we want to thank you for being a part of the joy that we have in our house. And we would love to be a part of the joy that you have in your house. So engage with us. Find us on Facebook /Joy in My House. You can also tweet us directly on Twitter.com/Joy in My House. And if you like our Facebook fan page, you receive up-to-date lineups of guests and information. If you're just listening to us, I want you to know that you can stream us live on any mobile device on Ustream.tv, and you can also find us on iTunes, genre R&B, LA Talk Live. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. You're not going to want to miss
Oh,
Tiffany Turner Duke,
she's
president of
beautiful.
CALM, calling all mothers, raising awareness for autism.
Mm-hmm.
When we come back, this is Joy in My House. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
How can I forget you? Where did the sweetness go, Lord? Have I fallen from your hand? Am I so far from you, Lord? Is my life in your plan? Where can I run when I feel all alone? Do my words truly reach you high on your throne? Where did your presence go, Lord? Have you pushed me far from your mind? Where did our laughter go? Will you smile on me one more time? How can I walk when the lights are growing dim? This pressure is hard, and I feel that my life will cave in. And I heard you say, how can I forget you when you're resting in my hands? How can I forget you? Clothes ain't all fancy, and my car ain't brand new, but there is joy in my house.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on LATalkLive.com. Inspirational radio,
with a touch of recovery.
a reality show where nothing is left unsaid,
And no one is insignificant who says it.
exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, I'm Ro Williams, and I would like to invite you to join GospelRhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show, GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes under R&B or watch us live on Ustream TV. We are reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is GospelRhythms.com Talk Live Radio on LATalkLive.com. We're more than just talk. We're heaven's party here on earth.
Thank
What's up, world? This is Nicolas Cage, inviting you to join us every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Time for New Rules Radio. Join us as we lend our social satire to the week's leading topics, including music, fashion, and politics. So don't forget to tune in to New Rules Radio, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Radio Flag, TuneIn Radio, Live 365, AHA Radio, TiVo Radio, and Apple TV Radio. Or just watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening and viewing pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality radio show. I'm joined here by my co-host and author of Shaped by the Master's Hand,
Very glad
Lolita
to be
Robinson,
here. Excited to
and our
today.
in-studio guest, Tiffany Turner Dukes. Welcome to the show.
Tiffany.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the show. Well, first of all, it is Mother's Day, and I already know your story, but we would like to ask you, are you a mother?
Yes, I am, of 3 beautiful children,
Okay.
ages 9, 7, and 4 years old.
Oh, you're a busy mother.
We got to wish you a happy Mother's Day as well. Happy Mother's Day.
Come on, I just got here. Don't make me cry.
That's all right. Well, we're glad you're here.
Well,
Thank you.
after reading your story and getting to know you, I think it's very appropriate for you to come on Mother's Day to give back to some of those mothers out there who maybe need to hear your story, to bring them some hope and inspiration. I always like to talk also how we met. We met you through our producer here, Van Eric. He's the one that referred you to come on the show. So
Yes, and
thank
thank you,
you.
Van Eric. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Did you have a show here, or something? I think Joel was mentioning that you've been on this at LA Talk Live before, or what?
Yes, I used to help out. I like to say way back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
used to help out with bringing guests on the show, helping people start their shows, and with
how
the marketing
beautiful.
and things like that. Yes, Van Eric actually saw some strong potential in me when I was
He's
just
smiling
helping
like a
out.
proud papa.
And that's how he actually embraced me from day one, like a proud
Oh.
papa. He said, "I see something in you, and I'd love to just have you on board." And then that's just where it left. That's just where it started. And then the relationships were, they'd started to build a relationship with him and Rich, and it just was awesome. It was an awesome experience.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
he's definitely my family.
Yeah, he is. He's just
Yes.
grinning over there, but I can see what he's saying. You have there's just a presence about you.
Thank
You're
you.
beautiful physically,
Thank
but there's
you.
just a sweetness about you. So I'm looking forward to Joel getting the ball going here.
Thank
Well,
you.
we always like to let our audience and viewers know your story.
Yes.
As they know more and more about you, I think they relate to us more as we're more transparent. So we always like to find out, where did you grow up? Tell us a little bit of your family of origin. Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Culver City, and I was raised like the first years of my life in LA, and my whole family migrated to the Inland Empire, and kind of a suburban area, Ranch Cucamonga, from
Oh,
there
yeah.
to like Riverside, Moreno Valley, and that's where I reside now. Yeah. So growing up in LA, I mean, I came back in the 90s, and but where I lived, 54th and 11th in the Crenshaw
Oh,
district.
wow. I
Yeah,
know
it
where
was.
that's at.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and at that time in the 90s, that's when gang violence was at its peak.
I bet.
So I had to go to school in Inglewood. Actually, I had to go to La Tierra.
Oh, I know where that is exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
right down the street.
How
Yeah.
many siblings?
I'm the oldest of 5. There's 5 of us. There's 5 of
And
us.
you're
I'm
the oldest.
Yes.
Oh, you have a story.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
A lot of stories. Oldest of 5.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And,
What was that like?
Oh boy. It was definitely interesting. It was hard. I had a very rough childhood. It was not a walk in the park. I mean, my mother is amazing. She's a phenomenal, strong woman. And happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. To Yolanda. And it was tough. My mom was just trying to figure some things out. Dating my dad, they were high school sweethearts. And my father is one of the sons of Ike Turner, the late Ike Turner.
Okay.
So you
all
are
right.
the granddaughter.
So you're the
Yes, the
granddaughter.
oldest granddaughter.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm sure he had some things he had to work out too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was challenging being introduced, but that's where the challenge came in. I was introduced as the trophy child. Oh, this is celebrity offspring. Everybody look at her, and it kind of weighed on me really heavy as a child. But then when I started to have siblings, I didn't want my siblings feeling like, because I had a different father, that are, because I have related to a celebrity, that I was any different than them.
Oh, I see.
Wow.
So you
Yeah.
okay? So there was a difference there because I big legend.
Yes.
Let's just put it as it was. So, well, they didn't have the same. Well, did they feel like they were kind of in the background because of the notoriety of your dad, or?
It was more, it's not so much the background, but it was more like I was kind of like the favorite, and like the favored. My family never treated me like the favorite. They were more worried about me because of things that I saw and had to deal with growing up. So I wasn't the favorite. I was the one that everyone had to kind of just like make sure. My aunts made sure that I grew up with the morals, made sure that I stayed in church,
Good.
made sure that I was active, swimming at junior lifeguard at Dorsey and at the Westchester
wow.
pool and things like that. And I was
Okay.
also in karate. I heard you mention that earlier.
Okay, so
Yes,
So-
I teach.
all right.
Yeah, so I had to get in. I mean, they really looked out for me, but like my siblings, they were so little, but I did not want them to feel like I was different
Right.
or special, and they weren't. So I actually downplayed, being related to a celebrity. It seems to be, it's hard. It's not easy. I mean, I didn't have the lifestyle that everybody thought I should. And then you're growing up in LA, and then you have a proud parent that's like, oh, that's Ike and Tina Turner's granddaughter, and then my friends, I'm getting bullied at school because I can't
Wow.
prove it because my clothes don't say that, or because and my mother, she did the best that she could with what she had,
Right.
and I helped her with that. I started doing hair at the age of 9. And that's a talent. My mom was a licensed cosmetologist, and that was a
Wow.
talent I was blessed with. So to help her feed my siblings and things like that, I hustled.
Okay.
And
you
made
had a
sure.
hard time then.
Oh, rough. And then she was into the, when you're dealing with the Turners, a lot of that history comes with the drugs.
Okay.
And my mom was affiliated with that growing up. So it was very challenging. And I didn't want that, and I didn't want my siblings to have that. So I kind of created an inside and an outside, and that's very hard to balance, but I maintained through the power of prayer, because like I said, my aunts made sure, and my mom also, not to take anything from her, they all
No,
made
but
sure
she
that I
sounds like
knew
she
how to
had a lot.
seek the Lord in those hard times, and my faith, I knew that it wasn't going to be like that forever, but I knew I had to wise up very quick to protect my siblings from the 90s and what was going on, and what was going on around us.
Well, we always like to talk about that a little bit. God always places people in our lives
Yes.
that kind of introduce. To me, it was Lolita who introduced me to Christ.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest with you. So you were talking about your aunts. Tell us a little bit about your aunts.
Yeah, were they grounded in the Lord?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Your mother's sisters?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 3 aunts, Carol, Davis, Rosetta Ellis, and Mitty Lawrence. My aunts are educated. They're educated. They grew up with a Catholic background.
Okay.
It's still, we still
Traditionally, yeah.
exactly.
And I like my Catholic traditions
yeah, it's a
too.
very good. It's a good foundation.
Right.
There's a lot to it. A lot of direction. A lot of community.
And my mom being the baby sibling, being 19 years younger than her
Wow.
yeah, her next sister. So she grew up basically with her nieces, and then I grew up with my cousins that were kind of like, my cousins were like my aunts, but they're like my cousins, you know what I mean?
Right,
So my aunts basically made sure that I stayed grounded with my moral. What do I mean by that? Well, my Aunt Mitty used to take me to the La Brea Tar Pits. And she would give me incentives like, okay, I'll take you to the museum, I'll take you these places, but you have to memorize Bible verses.
Oh, that's my
So-
mother and my niece.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my Aunt Carol, she's a tough cookie of the
Okay.
family. She's the one that's just like,
Lays down the law.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, she cracks
Yeah.
the whip, a rolled up TV guide,
I heard of the switches.
she'll lay it on you, but
So
she
they
was
weren't-
very firm.
They
and
weren't
then
interested in the showbiz aspect.
Actually,
what
yes.
you needed.
Mitty Lawrence was. She'd meet me at the movies. She night call nurses. I don't know if you remember that back in the day.
Yeah.
She was an actress, and she was very well known here in LA.
Yeah.
But she has more degrees than the thermostat.
So she-
so she was
so
with
what
the
I'm saying, they kept
educational
a balance with you. They
Yeah.
didn't let you get.
No.
It's beautiful to have this. If you have this celebrity,
Yes.
that's wonderful. But they gave you more, like you said, the learning, the Lord.
Yes.
Yeah, a real strong foundation.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
and my Aunt Rosetta also, she also made, like, I would have these, I would break out in hives because I had really bad nerves from dealing with so much. And my Aunt Rosetta would always take me, and she's the one that taught me about anointing oil and what to do. And, you know, how to pray, how to get in my prayer closet, and how to keep my armor on, you know. So I have my aunts have a lot to do with it. My mom also taught me how to go to church as well. I went to a Christian preschool growing up,
for you.
and things like that. So that's always been my foundation.
That's very important. If you go where you go, do what you do, sing,
Yes.
dance, whatever, but have that foundation, because
Yes.
obviously the Lord has preserved you
Thank you. Yes.
and prepared you for another battle, which
Oh,
we'll get
boy.
into.
Yes.
Which we will get into.
Well, that's
Go
next
ahead.
on the docket. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Meeting your husband.
Yes.
Let's, because Lolita loves to talk
Yes,
about
I do.
this.
See, he's I love it. Yes, okay, because before it was, very good.
I usually
Mm-hmm.
kind of oversee that. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm frustrated. I'm lonely, so I'm not going to talk about that. But you know what? You guys always
Yeah.
inspire and bring me hope that, you know, someday I'm going to find my
You
life
will.
partner. And I think God, in his time, there's a guest that came on that said he prayed for his wife. I don't want to pray yet for a wife because I know God will deliver.
He'll
So right
deliver,
now,
yeah,
prepare
yeah.
me first and when in his time.
Yeah, so how did that
So
happen?
let's find out
Yeah,
about your
with
husband.
Courtesy of my mother.
Yeah.
My
Oh.
mother introduced us. Yes. And also
How'd
his
she know
sister.
him?
My sister and his sister went to middle school together.
Okay.
And my mom would pick them up from school, give them a ride and things like that.
Nice.
And my mom met him, and she saw him walk outside. And my mom, at this time, I was
How old?
22 years old,
Okay.
and I was in Hollywood at the peak of my career, being an actress and video model
I was
and things
gonna
like
say
that.
You look very familiar. Were you in a lot of the videos with the rappers and
Yes.
stuff like that?
Yes.
I didn't want to buy something. I've seen her.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely had to. That's
Okay.
definitely not for me. I learned that very quick.
Yeah, but at least you have the experience.
Yes,
and
definitely.
see, the thing that what we like about our audience, we like people who are very diverse.
Yes.
You know what it's like to be a celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're a celebrity royalty, really. Let's just say it. Put it that way.
Thank you.
You've been in the videos. You've done it. So when you speak, you have clout.
Thank you.
So you can tell people, look, you still have to have this foundation.
You do. You do. It's very important.
Right.
Very, very, very important. But
So
my
you
mother,
were
my mother
22.
basically, I was 22. My mother was just like, she saw him and she was like, oh my gosh,
Oh.
you are gorgeous, and so is my daughter, and you have to meet her. And he was kind of like, this lady. And my mom is 54, but she looks 27.
I believe it.
She looks really good, and he's just like, it's funny because he said he was kind of checking my mom out, like, I like older women, hey, you know. And then, so no, my mom is just like, yeah, you got it. So my
That's
mom,
hilarious. I love it.
she his sister, and it was funny because one time I picked up our siblings from school, and they were like, his sister said, you remind me of my brother. You act just like my brother, like the same things you guys do when you're driving, your jokes, how you act. And then vice versa, they would get in the car with him, and my sister would say, you remind me of my sister.
Oh, wow.
And then so one day I just decided to go over there and
Okay.
see what this fuss was, 'cause I got tired of everybody telling me about this
So the
handsome
sibling
guy.
and everybody had seen him but you. Your
Yeah,
mom never-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually dropped, he wasn't home, and I had a headshot, and with a
No, you
resume
did
on the
not.
back.
No, you did
Yes, I
not.
did. I did.
That is
And
funny.
You did oh, that's so cute.
and it's so funny because he scrapbooks, and he made a scrapbook of our story, and it's
Oh.
like, this is the picture she left. And
That's
I left the picture and
hilarious.
was like, okay, call me. So he called me.
With the
And
resume.
that phone conversation, he was so nonchalant. He was just so quiet, and I was just like really bored. And I was like, we're not alike. Like, I was like, no,
Well, he
ew.
was probably scared.
Well, he's just very peaceful and laid back.
He's a
He's
laid-back
just
person.
not like excited like that unless something really has to. He's like, I don't know her yet, So
Right.
you're just kind of listening.
Very grounded.
Yeah, listening.
Okay. Yeah.
And I met him for the first time, and then I was looking at him. I was like, okay, yeah, you have potential. You're
Well, how
you're
did you guys
handsome.
meet? Who arranged it? To meet? Your mom or?
No, we spoke on the phone, and
Okay.
I told him, let's hang out. He's like, you want to hang out with me? I'm like, yeah, let's hang out like wet clothes. Let's hang out. I'll come over. And so I came over, and this is so comedy. Okay, so when I came over, he's like, I want to take you to the movies, see Final Destination. And I was like,
Oh,
okay,
that movie-
part 2.
Oh,
So I'm
is
like,
that the one where
okay.
everybody gets killed. In
Yeah,
it?
everybody. Okay, everybody's trying to cheat death, right? So of course, on the way home, we're just like on the freeway, like, oh gosh, is it gonna happen? Who's next, right?
Those are rough. Those movies.
This is the funny thing. I was really Hollywood back then, so I had on a fur coat.
Oh,
I
no,
came
you-
all
no,
glammed
no,
up.
no, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Camera ready. He has on pajama pants,
Wow.
a regular cotton shirt. No, he didn't have a house shoes. He had on Heelys.
heel.
But I didn't know he had on heelys until we're in the parking lot and he has his arm around me and he's just cruising.
He skating
Skating through the parking lot with his arm around me, and I'm pulling him with stilettos on and a fur coat. And I was like, you know what? If you want to see me again, you have to put the wheels away. So he does this little funny heel scoot, and the heels go away. The wheels go away, and he starts walking. And then we get to the window to go pay for the movies.
This is hilarious.
And he pulls out code. I'm all glammed up. Okay, I'm all literally camera ready. And he pulls out like a little bit of money and he's fumbling. He's trying to pay for the ticket. He looks at me and I'm like, you don't have enough? And he's like, and I was like, well, here's my college ID so we can get the discount, you know. So, I mean, but what this is showing me from all the celebrities that I've dated and what I've dealt with in my life, he's not ashamed.
Right.
Of,
he was confident with who
right,
he was.
Right.
That's the truth.
I can actually really respect that moral about him. I loved it. So then we go to movies, have a good old time, and I was just like
on the college
ID discount. Yes, yeah. Hey, that made a big difference, saving $1.75. We needed to save that.
That is hilarious.
We needed that. But it was awesome. But you know what? I realized that after that date, I went back to Hollywood and I went back to the scene and the dating scene, and it was not what I expected it. And being around him, I started to visit him. We were just friends. I started to visit him.
Friends.
Yeah, we were friends.
Very
because
good.
he was younger. He was only 17. That's another thing.
Wow. Oh, okay. You can relate to that.
Yeah.
The older ladies had to do
And
that.
I said,
But you would have been all glammed up with her. So
I would have been the one with the fur coat.
Yo, that's so funny. That's so comedy. I had to wait for him to turn 18. So on his birthday, I waited for him to turn. When I say wait, and I literally was very patient. I wasn't trying to rush anything.
there must have been something about him.
He was like an old soul. Being around him was like literally a walk in the park. It was a breeze. He made me feel like he was like a safe haven. So when I would leave LA, I get emotional and talk about it.
I'm emotional listening to it.
At one point in time, I lived in my car.
Oh, wow. Tiffany, you would never know.
No, I lived in my car for a year. Enterprise rental cars, actually, because I was too afraid to live alone, and I was not willing to trust to have a roommate.
And you didn't want to.
So I was making a lot of residual checks, in Hollywood. I had a lot of money, had about $6,000 in the bank, and lived in my car. And I used to park in safe places. Like my cousin didn't even know I lived in her parking lot for 9 months. She had no idea.
You had trust issues?
Very bad.
Okay.
Yeah. The fear is false evidence appearing real, and I owned it at that time.
Wow.
And I used to drive, and I used to sleep in my car around the corner from his house just to be that close to him. And I would wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I just drove in from LA. Let's go to Denny's. Let's go eat. And he had no idea until actually I just told him recently. And we've been married for 10 years, and I finally told him I wanted to be around him. I felt safe, even being parked 1 block away from his house and sleeping in my car.
So we're laughing, but God gave you somebody who was just very, like you said, low key, not into any kind of impressions of people. He didn't care about your headshot. I mean, he was probably impressed by you, but he gave you somebody that was just safe.
Yeah, and then when I started to go
games.
to church, and I told him, I said, do you go to church? He said, I go to church, and I said, well, let's try each other's churches out.
What's his name?
His name is CJ.
CJ.
Carl Jr.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, our first child, all of our baby shower gifts were in Carl's Jr. bags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but his name is CJ Dukes,
Okay.
and Carl Dukes Jr.,
Okay.
and he's an amazing man, but then he was a boy, but something about him was telling me to be patient and to grow with him, and I wouldn't regret it. So
did you
I
take
invited
down,
him
did
to
you tell
church.
is it easier to take down all of the kind of
The guard?
the guard? Yeah, 'cause that's what.
Yeah, it was easy because he asked me to come next time I came to his house to wash my face. Take off. He's like, I don't know what your hair looks like. He's like, you have a nice braid of hair, but can I see your real hair? Can you wash your face? He said, can you just wear some sweats, like a velour sweatsuit or something? Can you just come
Tone
over?
it down a little bit.
Yeah, he's
right.
like, I just want to know
I
who
wanna
you
see
are.
you. I wanna
Organic.
see you.
Right.
Not who you have to present.
Right. And he's like,
Wow.
you don't have to do that with me. And then I kind of knew something was special about him at that point.
Was it hard to do?
Oh gosh.
We
it
make
was.
light of that, but
I had my
kinda like
head
that.
down the whole time. I didn't want to get out the car. When I drove up, I was just like, we can go, but I was just kind of like, I've created this like bubble, this wall, because I didn't want him to see me.
I talk a lot about that, especially with my sponsees, is
Yeah.
having this identity that we have. Like for me, it was a party guy, a fun guy. So for me to have to not be that guy, it's like, who am I? I identify myself now first as a believer in Christ, and that has given me the strength to just walk normally, like you said, in sweats, in this. So taking away that identity, it's a little scary because like, who am I really?
Right.
And then you get so used to being who that person people think you are, as opposed to the real person. So you had the opportunity, thanks to him, to be yourself.
Yeah,
That's-
and
And you
that's
didn't know how
beautiful.
beautiful you really were.
I-
You are.
thank
Just
you.
you walked in, I was like, oh, she's so beautiful.
thank you so much.
You know?
Well, I felt, thank you, and I felt he had a beautiful spirit. He was very
Yes.
handsome. He is. He's gorgeous. He's gorgeous.
Where's his family background from? I mean,
I believe he told a fib. He told me that, and I believed him. He told me he was mixed with Hawaiian and Creole, and I was like,
Oh,
well,
boy.
that's a cocktail, you know. I was like, okay.
You got any more of those cocktails?
Right? Exactly. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, right. Oh, awesome. Oh, that's interesting.
wow.
But I found out that he's of Creole, and the Hawaiian part just never happened. It was
Okay.
new. I found it wasn't
Okay.
real. His mom went to Hawaii, had a magnet on the fridge, and I ran with that part. So,
Creole, but still.
but yeah, he's that's where he's a lot of his family, they're Creole, and
Okay.
but it's just, even though he's so handsome, he's God fearing first. First. And a lot of people in his family told me like he was like special. He's a little different. His disposition has always been very calm, collective, never really lost his lid, very wise. And that's what I could appreciate about him. How do you
need
have that
that.
in common with somebody 3 years younger than you, and then being a guy? Because women are supposedly
mature a little
more
faster.
right.
Right.
But there was still a balance there, and there
I
was a
was-
spiritual connection there.
That's why I was telling my son, I'm not going to identify who.
Mm-hmm.
Age, you just never know. If you're seeking for somebody that's younger,
Mm-hmm.
and you go after a type, but if you meet somebody and things happen, it's the way it was supposed to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Well, I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit because I
Sure.
do want to start touching on
This is a beautiful
your,
story.
your
Thank you.
child. So
Yes.
you had your first child.
Mm-hmm.
What age? Where were you in life when you first?
I was still in between Hollywood, back and forth.
Okay.
I had a really, really bad health condition, that scarred my ovaries to where I was told when I was 21 I couldn't have children.
Why?
And when that happened,
Was it from a sickness or is it something personal?
it was from polycystic ovarian syndrome,
Oh.
and left my ovaries very scarred and no good.
Hives.
This
You've
is
had a
it.
lot of suffering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's okay because without a test, there's still a testimony.
You know what I'm saying? That
Yes.
When you talk, people listen.
Yes.
You've been there.
So when I was dealing with that, at that time I had a significant other that I was dating for 6 years, and we were on the rocks. And this is
Why
when
your boyfriend was in the? Why CJ
No.
was in the picture?
So CJ, this is when I just met CJ.
Oh, okay. So
like
you
we were just friends.
Okay. Okay.
And when this happened, I had a really bad episode at home, and I called CJ and I said I have to call the paramedics because something's wrong and I'm gonna faint. And CJ was the first one. When I woke up in the hospital, CJ was right there, and I'm looking at CJ and I'm like, can you call my boyfriend? And he was like, sure, because at the time we were friends. He's like, let me call him. So he calls him, and he's like, your girlfriend's really sick. You should see about her. And he wasn't concerned to see about me. So the doctor comes in and says, is it okay that he sits here? And I was like, sure. So they're like, sorry, Tiffany, but here's some pictures, some ultrasound pictures. It looks here that you can't have children.
Oh.
What
boy.
happened was you had your cysts, like the size of small lines, rupture.
Is it like fibroids or
Oh
something?
yeah,
Okay.
it's horrible.
Like a worst case of fibroids.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like my
boy.
ovaries kind of look like a pomegranate. Yeah, it was really bad. And so CJ, I'm kind of crying. I don't really want to have children because where I was at in my career, but at the same time I didn't want that choice taken from me.
Right.
So CJ, this is so funny. He's like rubbing my forehead and he's just like, it's gonna be okay because you're gonna have all my children. And I'm looking at him like, no, because that means we're gonna have to do what it takes to have children. I don't like you like that. Like I was really like in my head like,
I don't see you that way.
No, you're my friend and you're young. You still get an allowance. Like, knock it off, And I'm really, no, seriously.
Oh,
And like,
wow.
I had an ego at that point. I was edging God out. He was trying to tell me
That was
something.
the world you came from.
Right.
That's
And
where you came from. I mean, you can't help that. You had to grow into this.
I did. And
Yeah.
he's just like, no, just watch, watch, you're going to have my children. I'm like, whatever, okay. So now I know he likes me because he said that. So after I get out the hospital and stuff and I'm healing, I'm
Your
doing
boyfriend
good.
still didn't come around.
No, he didn't. I ended up breaking up with him at that point because I was like, you'll see a Laker game, but you won't see me. Okay, I get it.
Right.
I'm over it.
Right.
So I left him. And I didn't want to date CJ because I didn't want it to be like a rebound experience. So I
Right.
let some time go by.
Good for you. You're saying a lot of stuff. We don't have a lot of time. We've
Okay,
got
okay.
time. No. I'm
Oh,
saying
okay.
for the hour.
Okay.
But you're saying so much in the time that we've had.
Oh, thank you.
You've covered on so many things.
Thank you. I'm doing the best I can as fast as I
No,
can. but-
we've got time. I'm just saying
Okay.
that you covered on so much in the first half. I'm just not even knowing where to start. You had the wisdom to give yourself some time too before you
Yes.
jumped into another relationship.
Well, he was a really nice guy, and one thing I don't want to do is be the reason why a guy is not a nice guy anymore. And I didn't want to ruin it for anyone else. So I was just like, let's just take
Thank you
our
for
time.
that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, why
So-
why did you say that?
Well, just because I feel like I waited, and then I
Mhm.
got into a relationship, and it was kind of up and down, and I'm very frustrated with that. I felt like I came out, I'm sober, I don't party, I don't sleep around, I'm doing all the right things, and yet I felt like I wasn't being appreciated, and it kind of set me back. Now I'm very fearful of dating right now, or even just stepping into that arena. So right now I'm just kind of letting God work in me right now, but it did make me take a step back.
It does.
So,
It makes
so
you a
it
little
didn't
sketchy.
confirm me that
Yes.
it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
And it's a smart thing to do that.
Right.
And I'm glad I did. And then, but when we did start dating,
And how did that happen? What did the Lord do? Start speaking to your heart, or did your aunts with wisdom say, "Girl, get it together"? 'Cause
okay, my
usually
aunts
can
with
see.
yes, listen,
I've talked to a lot of girls. Don't be crazy now.
that is so
girl.
funny. I actually took him to my aunt Carol's house, and she saw him, and she said, "You better leave that little boy alone." She said, "You better leave him alone." And I was like, "No, I'm not leaving him alone."
Right.
Like something about him. She was like, "Tiffany, leave him alone." And I'm like, "No." She was like, "Tiffany, listen, he comes with a little bit of responsibility and a little bit of work, and if you're gonna pursue him, you better be ready for what he comes with."
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
And
so
it's
she had
patience.
Okay.
You're dealing patience. She's married to a ball player. I don't know if you know Dodger Hall of Famer Tommy Davis.
Oh yeah.
That's her husband's my uncle. So
Wow. So you come from this big time, girl, all the way around.
yeah,
And you're so humble.
thank you.
No, really.
Thank you.
I like that. I really do.
Thank you. That's a lot. They have a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, she told me, she's like, leave him alone. And then my uncle Tommy met him, and he's just like, oh yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, go ahead. I got the stamp
what was
of
her
approval.
fear? What was her fear, that he was young and had to grow into his?
Well, she knows me.
Oh, okay.
That I'm very
Right.
firm, impatient,
Okay.
and she knows I'm just like, okay, whatever. I'm
You
never
gonna chew him
mind.
up and spit him out, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, okay,
Alright.
Tiffany, don't, But to fast forward, the way that happened with my aunt telling me, giving me that wisdom and stuff, I was like, no, I have what it takes. So how we ended up with our first son, we were dating for about 3 months. And I found out I was 10 weeks pregnant.
Wow.
I had no idea because I thought I
told you
couldn't
you
have
couldn't have
children.
children.
Exactly. So it wasn't like, oh, I trapped him. He was there when the doctor said that. So it was a joint decision for us to, engage the way we did. When I found out I was pregnant, he was 19 years old.
Wow.
And I actually called him at work. He had just started working at Verizon, and I said, I know you're 19. I know you're young. I've never had an abortion, and I don't believe in it. But one thing I don't believe in is trapping anyone. So I'm leaving it up to you as to what you want to do to move forward with your seed. And he's like, what? You're pregnant? Oh, my goodness. I'm on my way. He's like, yeah, I'm on my way. So he comes home from work. He comes to my mom's house, and he says, I got an apartment for us.
What?
Wow.
Pack your bags. Tell your mom that you're moving out. You are my responsibility, and I'm going to take care of you and our baby for the rest of your life. This is it.
Wow.
So at this time, his grandma goes to church. She's real heavy in the church, and she's like, grandma's getting married, okay? Grandma's like, God willing, we gonna have a double wedding. And I'm
Okay,
like,
so she's like, you go.
oh yeah.
Okay,
Grandma's like, we gonna have a
grandma.
double. So look, he proposed to me
Ain't
while I
none
was
of this
pregnant.
stuff. Grandma said,
He proposed to me when I was 5 months pregnant, and then when Amari was 3 months old, he got in a very severe car accident. Very, very severe. Very bad.
CJ?
Yes. My husband got in a very bad car accident. It was interesting because his mom was actually on the freeway in front of him, looking in her rearview mirror and seeing how he was driving, and said out of her mouth, "This fool is going to kill somebody."
What was he doing?
And he was trying to rush to get to a training, and there was some stop traffic, and he was flying, and somebody came out and went back in and clipped him, and he spun out of control. So when he got in that accident, his mom was the first one on the scene because she seen it happen in her rearview mirror, ironically. So she gets there. Fast forward, he has a concussion. It's really bad. The next day is Grandma's wedding in Oakland. So Grandma's like, he's healing, he's recovering, and Grandma's like, we're still gonna get married. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
He has a concussion. He's not. Yeah.
What are you talking about? Well, my husband woke up the day everybody was taking off and loading up the Suburban and says, "Babe, let's go get married." And I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "Yeah, let's go get our marriage license from the county clerk office. Let's go get married." This time we had just had a condo from my aunt and uncle Tommy Davis had owned a condo in Rancho Cucamonga that they're renting to us. And my cousin was living there, their daughter. And I called and I'm like, "Cousin, I'm about to go get married. He hit his head that hard. Like, let's get him now. Like, right. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. So my cousin said,
This is great.
my cousin says, "Cousin, look downstairs in the closet. There's a wedding dress in there, size 4. If it fits you, you can wear it."
No.
Yes. So there was a wedding dress already
Who
in my
has
house.
cousins
And
with-
I had no idea the wedding dress was in my house because I had just moved in the condo.
Well, who has wedding dresses that are waiting in the
That's what I'm saying. Who does that, right? And I'm like, "Really, cousin?" She's like, "Yeah." And it fit. It was a perfect fit.
Oh my gosh, she was
We
by
go out
faith.
there.
I guess she was getting married by faith. I did that. I bought a dress, didn't even have a man.
That's so funny.
Give it away. But
Yeah, speak it into existence. You gotta speak. You gotta live it. You gotta own
That
it.
is
So
great.
we get there. We get to Oakland. We get married. We have a double wedding with Grandma. Yeah, we ended up having a double wedding with his grandmother. It was beautiful.
Wow.
And here we are. But when we had Amari.
Well, we're gonna go to a quick commercial
Okay.
break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Amari,
Yes.
in
Wow,
his
this
autism,
Yes.
and you starting your ministry, which
Yes.
is CALM, which is calling all mothers,
Yes.
which is raising awareness for autism.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
This
Joy
is
in my house. I want you guys to stay tuned. We'll be right back.
To depend upon him, I bring him ashes for gold. He starts to work, I put him on hold. Still he's faithful to me, 'cause he's blind as to see. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God. Oh, I'm praising God. He's all to me, my life, my love. He sets me free, I love him any time of day. I close my eyes and I can pray to Jesus. Come and follow me, I'll make you whole if you serve me. It is you and me in eternity. I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God, praising God. Oh, I'm praising God, praising God. I'm praising God. Oh, I'm praising God.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Joy in My House, inspirational reality radio show with a touch of recovery. A reality radio show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who says it and shares it with us.
I'm joined here by my co-host and recording artist Lolita Robinson and our
Yes.
in-studio guest Tiffany Turner, which is the
Right.
founder of CALM,
Yes,
calling
thank you.
all mothers. which raises autism awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you
yes.
go up to that journey?
Well, let's talk
Oh,
about the birth
yeah.
of your child
Goodness.
and
Yes.
finding out when you had
Yeah, what
autism.
happened? Yeah.
Okay, well, when I had Amari,
Love the name.
thank you. When I had Amari, he was I knew that he was a child of divine purpose. I already knew. During my pregnancy, it was very rough. I went into preterm labor when I was 5 months pregnant. They were able to stop the labor, but I ended up going term. And he was such a amazing, calm, peaceful baby.
Like
He
his
rarely
daddy.
cried.
Like his
Yeah,
dad.
yes,
Like his daddy,
yes. He
yeah.
rarely cried. He was an awesome baby. But when he was born, he had a brain hemorrhage. Okay, he had a brain hemorrhage.
From what?
From being in the head down position for the remainder of my pregnancy, and my tailbone had pressure on his head, and his soft spot wasn't able to really close the way that it should. His skull wasn't able to really close, so it caused a lot of trauma. And where the hemorrhage was where your cognitive, motor, all that is, right? Basically motor function. Okay, so I didn't know any of this until I had him. He was fine, but he wasn't having bowels as frequently as he should after I had him. So they were kind of watching him. So CJ goes, my husband CJ brings the car seat, they're ready to release us from the hospital. And that's when they took our son away and took him to the NICU and said, I'm sorry, he has to stay for further evaluation and get an MRI on his brain because we did an ultrasound. We found a brain hemorrhage. And so we left the hospital without a car seat. Now that was without a child in the car
baby.
seat. Yeah, just an empty car seat. That was horrible.
Well, yes.
So then,
didn't think you even have a baby.
right at that point. So I'm just like, and at this, my faith, I'm just like, really, Lord, like I can't, like, what's going on? What, I did everything I was supposed to do. Why? So here it is. I go home without the car seat, but I'm sleeping in my truck in the parking lot at the hospital because when the nurses,
A familiar place.
I want him to feel my energy, my prayers. I didn't want to go home. And so, I had like a little receiving blanket that smelled like him, but I kept it on me because I was nursing.
Well, why couldn't you go in the hospital?
Because he was in the NICU.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, so it was like, but they would let me see him, but I can only see him for an hour, and then that was it. So, just to fast forward, the doctor said that Amari was going to be pretty much a vegetable, that he would never crawl, walk, talk. He had this, I remember the neurologist had this big old bag of like old-fashioned goodies. I'm talking about, the big black bag that the doctors have in the movies with the zipper.
Yeah.
And he pulls out all like the big old horns, the honka horns, and he's like honking it in my son's face, and Mari's not budging, and he has like the pinwheel that you put with your thumb and the sparks fly. Mari's not budging. He said, your son is supposed to be reacting to this, responding to this, and he's not. So this is pretty much it for him. This is what it's going to be. Here's a stack of papers so you guys can get some compensation, financial compensation, and actually start him on therapy. He's going to have seizures for the rest of his life.
Oh, girl.
So I was just like, so my husband took the whole stack of papers and he threw them in the trash and said, you don't know who I serve. Babe, let's go.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Wow.
Yes, he did.
Well, he spoke a marriage and children into existence, so he's a
Yes.
man of faith.
Yes.
Oh.
So we Amari had to stay in the hospital for a couple weeks, and then he came home and he started to put a cold wipe on his bottom, kind of scoot up a little bit. He started rolling over, and he started to do everything on time. Now we did have a lot. Our pastor laid hands on him. When we got married, that pastor laid hands on him. We were very prayed up about the situation. And it was very challenging because I was waiting for something to happen, and everything, he wasn't doing anything the doctor said he was going to do, so
Right.
he's beating the odds, right?
Okay.
So he ended up being a really happy, healthy baby. I had second and third opinions on his brain. His brain hemorrhage healed on its own. We didn't have to give him a shunt.
Oh, that's the Lord.
His brain actually, where they said he had an abnormality, ended up actually healing.
Oh,
everything
wow, that was a miracle.
came together,
So,
yes.
So this doesn't happen.
No.
Nobody outgrows this. So
No,
God
no.
intervened in this situation.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
So then he started to, when he was, I'm a strong believer in the vaccinations playing a role in me losing him. And what I mean by losing him, by his last round of shots in the month of July, which is when his birthday is, he had a really bad allergic reaction. Very
so like
bad.
Jenny McCarthy.
Oh,
I've
yes.
been saying the same thing.
Yeah, very
Okay.
high fever, couldn't break it.
Wow.
Lasted about a week. He was very
Wow.
lethargic, just kind of like, and I'm like, what's wrong? Then he stopped. Amari used to eat everything. He stopped. He started being picky eater. He started to struggle from bad tantrums, and then his speech. He stopped saying mommy. Sensory issues. I took him to Soup Plantation, tried to give him some Jello. He saw the bowl of Jello, lost it because sensory. Like he couldn't the way it looks to him.
Wow.
I didn't know anything about it at that time, so I'm like, why is he spazzing out like this?
And he was fine before he went through the series of all those shots.
Yeah, he was progressing.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
What I did was, I knew it was autism because I was going to school for medical billing and coding, and I was learning about it. And then I have a friend who has a sibling with autism, and she was kind of, I'm not trying to, offend you, but, I have a brother with autism, as you know, and your son reminds me of my brother, and I did kind of tick me off because I didn't want to receive that. You understand?
Right,
I didn't want to hear it. So I was just like, okay, well, she's saying this from the kindness of her heart. Let me see what I can do to focus on solutions. But even though I said that out of my mouth, I actually went into a state of depression. I had a stroke, lost my speech, and I was pregnant. Because at this time when Mari's being diagnosed and going through this, I was pregnant with my our second son, Gianni, and I was 7 months pregnant. And I was pregnant with twins in the beginning, and I lost one. So then I'm high risk pregnant with him, and then I'm dealing with Amari, and I'm just like, this is too much. And then I had a stroke, and
You've had a lot.
my marriage was my husband was very overwhelmed himself, and it just
it brings a lot of stress to
it
the
did.
relationship.
It brought a lot,
Yeah.
and it
Even the strongest mature couple
mhm.
having any
It was
these
very-
kind of issues going on.
It was very challenging. So, when Amari was 2.5, he had hernia surgery, and the way that he came up off of the anesthesia, I noticed was a little different than most. I just was like, how am I going to reach my son at the end of the day? That was my main focus. How am I going to reach my son who's different? I know it. I just want to reach him. I want him to be able to communicate with me. Because he wouldn't have eye contact.
That's what they say.
He
yeah.
was affectionate, but he was just in his own universe.
That's what they say.
He
A
loves
little
music though.
detached.
He would dance his butt off. He would dance, but that's it. He could care less. If I left the room, he wouldn't cry for me. He never picked me up. Like, he didn't do that with me. It hurt to see your child engaged with you, and then over the course of 3 months lose all that connection. Okay, so I was dealing with that. After I had our son Gianni, I realized very fast that I was gonna have to get it together. Okay, but it wasn't that easy because I lost my grandfather at that time, and I had to deal with the media. I had to deal
Oh,
with
that's right.
a lot.
He's so far in the, I don't even think of Ike Turner when I look at you. I really don't. Oh, so they started camping around your door and wanted to hear what you felt? No.
I had to maintain power of attorney with my father. My father's paralyzed and he can't do certain things. So I had to basically be my father in court and things like that, and dealing with the estate and stuff. So it was very challenging. I'm dealing with all this after Amari's diagnosis, as well as just having a baby
And then having a stroke yourself.
and recovering from a
I
stroke.
wonder what the Lord had in mind with all this.
And then all of a sudden I'm suicidal at this point. And I was. In 2008 I was. And then I got pregnant with my daughter, and then that was...
Are they affected by autism?
No. I did not have them vaccinated like Amari was. Okay. I was dealing with, like I said, all of that all at once, but in 2009 something happened when I was pregnant with my daughter. I had what you call, people will say epiphany. No. God spoke to me. It was loud. It was very clear. I was just in my bed, and I was just like, Lord, I was crying. And I said, please, if you give me the solutions and the answers to reach Amari, I promise I will pay it forward for the rest of my life. I promise that I won't be a secret agent. I'll tell parents for the rest of my life. Do you know, I go to Borders. I'm sitting on the floor in Indian style reading book after book. I had no idea what books I was reading or why. I educated myself. At this time, this is when Jenny McCarthy just started to speak out. So I tapped into her. Anytime she was on a magazine article, I bought it. I wanted to know what she was doing with her son with his gluten-free diet. And I said, I need to do this. So I did the gluten-free. No wheat, no dairy, no soy. Okay, how do you know Amari has these allergies, though, Tiffany? How do you know this is effective? So I had him allergy tested. Okay, I had him see an audiologist. I had him see a neurologist. I had him see Pediatricians do not diagnose autism. So let me just save you parents some energy. Do not harass your pediatrician and say something's wrong with my child. Ask to see a child psychologist, because you have to study the behavior.
It's emotional too? It's an emotional?
No, it's a behavioral disability. So it's about behavior, and that's what pediatricians don't study that. Okay, so just ask for that referral. Save your doctor, save yourself some co-pays, but save your doctor some headache, and just ask for that. And a lot of times they have schools that do it too. They have special schools.
Well, now it's so out in the front now, because Jenny McCarthy, the first person I ever heard of autism was Sylvester Stallone. I'd never heard of it because one of his children had it.
Okay.
But then Jenny came in there, and now you and the other mothers, so it's more up front now. So
it is.
It's not as, How old is Amari?
Amari's 9 now. And like I said, he was completely nonverbal by the age of 4. He couldn't talk at all. I started early intervention, school. I put him in a preschool that was designed and tailored for his needs. Speech therapy, and I changed his diet. Like I said, no wheat, no dairy, no soy. I found out what he was allergic to. Even dyes, like certain dyes and juices. No high fructose corn syrup, no sugar. Once I dedicated, that was my life for him. We made sacrifices. My husband and I ate top ramen noodles so Amari can eat Trader Joe's and Farmers Market food. It's expensive. Yes, it's pricey, about $100 plus a week for Amari's diet, but it was necessary.
Did you see improvement?
Yes. I saw improvement after it took 6 months. Because what people don't know is when you have an allergy, especially to gluten, and it absorbs into your intestine lining, it drips back into your bloodstream like an opiate and causes you to just fly off the handle, causes mood swings, severe tantrums and things like that. And that's what Amari was dealing with. So I had to eliminate all of that.
So that wasn't all autism then?
No, that is autism.
Oh, it is, but it helps to diffuse it when you put it with the diet too.
The diet helps. It takes the edge off of it, definitely. And then my commitment to the diet, better nutrition practice, is also herbal remedies. I don't deal with medicine. After what medicine did to me when I was depressed, I was like, I can't give Amari medicine.
Well,
so
we're running a little bit out of time,
Okay.
so I want you to touch base on your line of diet.
Yes.
So let's do
and
that
how
really
you started how you started your foundation.
Okay, well, for diet, I started Amari on magnesium citrate, a mineral called DMG.
Is this stuff here
No, this is not. This is the last thing I started him on. But I started him on the DMG, like I said, the magnesium citrate, omega-3s, and vitamin B6 for his mood swings. Okay, his tantrums, and I got results. Yes. But then I was introduced a few years ago to Ganoderma. Ganoderma is an amazing herb. It's a mushroom that's been around for 5,000 years that has over 200 phytonutrients, in which 150 are antioxidants. Okay? So this is really the most documented herb on the planet. You can go to PubMed.gov or WebMD, type in Ganoderma, and you'll see what it can do for the body. So I started to give Amari Ganoderma. Now I was introduced to this and I wasn't impressed because I thought I had it all
figured out.
I was like, okay, God, we had a conversation. We got this, And when it was introduced to me, I wasn't impressed. But when I did my research and I started to give Amari this is hot chocolate. And inside of this hot chocolate has the herb that I was telling you about. Mary was like, is this one of these cookies? This right here is the herb. And this herb.
This is what you've done? You've made this yourself?
No. This is not. This is a company. This is branded by a company called GanoLife. Now, Ganoderma, you can get it anywhere. Okay, but this is just my personal preference.
And show the audience and viewers.
Sure. And then this camera here. Okay, this is.
And so you started your organization through this?
Yeah, this organization, GanoLife, actually is what's helping me with my financial freedom to success. Gave me an opportunity to be able to work from home via webinar and teach other mothers and business coach other mothers how to work from home. If you have a child with special needs, your biggest fear is leaving them in childcare and something happening.
You can't work yourself.
Right, but this is just to get other moms together. Less than an hour a day. You share the coffee, you share the hot chocolate or the supplements. You're implementing the better nutrition habits for your family, creating a lifestyle out of it. Not only that, generating income as well, keeping each other empowered and uplifted, all in one token. So I created a group called Calling All Mothers of children with special needs, for us to be able to keep each other uplifted, keep each other encouraged. Support system,
group, right,
exactly.
very much
Not
so.
only that, this
and
is
for
bringing.
you too. I bet it helped you emotionally also.
It did. It
And
helped
to
me
bring you
balance.
to balance yourself. I was thinking that.
I started to give Amari this hot chocolate. Within 2 weeks, his tantrum stopped. Okay, this is my story. I'm not making any claims that it has cured his autism
No,
or
but
it's
you've
treating
got
his
some-
autism. But I found something, and Calm has found something that we believe in. Okay, and we believe in brand Gano Life because our Gano Life 365 is 100% USDA organic certified and pesticide free, 100% pesticide free. And there's just some no tannic acid. There's just some and kosher. So there's just some like benefits that and perks that come with our products. And this is for you guys because I see you guys are coffee drinkers.
Oh,
We definitely
wow.
drink coffee.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This is Ganoderma 365 infused latte flavor. That's coffee, cream, and sugar in one sachet. Cut and go. So
Wow.
real convenient for when you guys are about to get on the air. You just get the
Thank
hot water
you.
in the lobby, stir it, cut and go.
Well,
And
Tiffany, go ahead.
here's your those are different flavors, sample pack for
Thank
you.
you.
And these are just some supplements that I recommend. Immunolife and Ganoderma. I infuse this in Amari's hot chocolate every day to better his nutrition just that much.
Well, Tiffany, I want to thank you for coming on the show. We're running a little bit out of time,
Yes,
but we
yes.
always like to ask.
This is beautiful. And I don't see Ike Turner. I see you.
Oh, thank you.
You, an individual, beautiful entrepreneur.
Thank you.
Congratulations, CJ, and all of this.
Thank you. Appreciate
The
it.
name of the show is called Joy in My House, and we always like to ask our guests, what does joy in my house mean to you in today's day and age?
Joy in my house brings joy to everyone's heart because you guys bring and gravitate everything good and you guys sow it right back into everyone else, and that's important, and that's what you guys mean to me. Thank you for sowing the time into me so that I'm able to sow into others, and let's just watch it grow together.
Oh, how
Amen.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
And
Joy in
can
My
I,
House. Go ahead.
I just wanted to give the websites.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes.
Yes, if you'd like to email me personally, you can actually email me at tiffany'sturn@gmail.com. Tiffany's Turn with an S at gmail.com. Also, tiffany'sgift.com if you'd like to know more product information. And callingallmothers.info. Callingallmothers.info. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. We are mothers that want to help you believe in something. And we will help you get there. And we will support you 100%.
Amen.
Thank you.
This is Joy in My House,
Say
ladies
more.
and gentlemen. I want you to remember to tune in with us next week with Christian artist Julia N. Jones, goes by J. Nicole. You're not going to want to miss. Thank you for coming on the show,
Happy
Tiffany.
Mother's Day.
You guys have an
Thank
amazing
you.
Mother's Day. Have a blessed day. This is Joy in My House. See you next week. God bless.
I'm always in one of mine. Constant spins, not trusting. He opens doors to go in, but I'm afraid to depend upon him. I bring him ashes for gold. He starts to work, I put him on hold. Still he's faithful to me, 'cause he's